Hi, I'm Cathey Armillas. Welcome to TV Toastmasters. I'm excited to have an amazing guest with me today, Terry Beard, founder of Beard's Frame Shops and also Frame Central stores. Terry is the author of a book called Squelched. Terry, I'm super excited to have you here today, and I love your message. I love this whole squelch theory too. So why don't you tell me why you wrote the book and why you titled it Squelched?
Well, that's a good question, and it's a loaded one, but I'm
delighted. I know it's loaded.
I joined Toastmasters a little over 18 years ago, and I started preparing my speeches. And as I was preparing my speeches, I found that I was sharing lessons learned. And also I was thinking about my sons, that I want to leave a legacy that they themselves would not be squelched, which meant that they had a voice, and they found their voices. So I became a role model for them. And they saw me preparing my speeches, and they were wondering what I was doing. And as this went on and on and on, the more and more I thought about it, I started taking a really hard look at myself. Why had it taken me over 50 years, excuse me, before I got on my feet to speak?
Yeah, I love that. I love that you did that with your kids, leading by example, because a lot of parents would just say, hey, this is a really important piece that you need in your life. And I love this Squelched. I mean, how many people out there have a voice that they don't ever bring to the public or to the surface? And it's important to get it out there, right? I mean, that's right. Kind of why you wrote this.
Exactly. And like everybody else, I talk to people, and I've been on Google search engines and find out that 85 to 90% of the American people would rather die than give a speech. And we've all heard it. We've all said it.
I knew you were going to go there.
Exactly, exactly.
I like the glossophobia. Tell us about that. I love that. This whole story about where it came from. It's great.
Yes, glossophobia is the fancy word for fear of public speaking.
Literally fear of the tongue, because glossa means
and
tongue.
There's also logoria and logophobia.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, one who speaks too much.
One who doesn't speak enough.
One is to speak at all.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, you've been a Toastmaster for 18 years now, right?
Yes.
18 years. And I think you did some math. How many clubs do you belong to, and how many meetings did you figure that you attended?
I know I've been to between 600 and 700 meetings over the last 18 years, and that's done with one club for 16 years, and the current club that I'm involved in is Portland Rotary Toastmasters, and we meet each Wednesday morning. And it's for Rotarians and non-Rotarians. And we meet each Wednesday, 12 months of the year. Doesn't take long to do the math to get up 600, 700, 800 meetings.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's fantastic, though, that you've kept this going all this time. And obviously you started late. You know, your kids were older, and you probably were thinking, you know, growing up in school. Did you feel like that was something that was missing? I mean,
when I was growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've written about it in my book. I've told many stories about it. But I'm not alone out there. What I've written to is everybody's story. A great majority of us, when it became time to be called on in class, I would duck. I wouldn't want to be seen. I'd hide out in the hallway, go to the restroom, go to the bathroom. Absolutely.
Whatever it took, right?
Exactly.
You'd get a cough all of a sudden?
Well, yeah, I learned all of the ways to get out of being called on to give a speech.
Here's a great question. Where do you think the tipping point is for people? If people really are that afraid to speak, and yet people have things to say, everybody has something worthy to say, where's that tipping point where you feel like and you know, being a Toastmaster for 18 years, I'm sure you've seen it in many people, where they come in and they don't have a voice, and then they shine. Like, where do you think the magic lies?
I think a lot of people are squelched, and we develop a fear of public speaking because we've lost our self-esteem and we've lost our self-confidence. And the reason why a lot of what we do in this country is people are told that they're not good enough.
Yeah.
And so if people are not given praise, if they're not validated, if they're not encouraged, if they're not supportive, then they lose their voices.
Yeah. We're being driven instead of being the driver, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did your sons, did they end up using public speaking? And did they end up getting into Toastmasters or using it in their...
Yes, when I was turning 50, I had just completed a class at Dale Carnegie. Then soon thereafter, I joined Toastmasters. I had a son going to the University of Oregon, and he joined Toastmasters, and at my 50th birthday, he got up to talk, and he knew better, but he felt so proud of himself, he got up and spoke for 45 minutes about how wonderful I am as a father to him. So I thought that was a bit much, and the 200 and some people that were there felt that it was a bit much too. My younger son graduated recently from Berkeley, and I asked him how he graduated at the top of his class. And he said, "Dad, you know," he said, "I used to get B's, and after I became a member of Toastmasters, then all of a sudden when the teacher would ask a question, I would give everybody else an opportunity. But if nobody else raised a hand, I raised my hand."
Yeah.
And when my papers went past my professor's desk, they would see my name, or she would see my name, and sure enough, I'd get A's.
It's amazing how the art of being able to communicate well, it transcends everything. It goes in fact, Toastmasters, you know, they recently they rebranded in the last, 5-10 years.
Yes.
And their rebranding is actually where leaders are made, which I think at first was very perplexing to some people. Like,
Yes.
why would an organization that is built around public speaking, why would they choose to focus on that? But I'd love to hear your take on that and why it's important.
You mean for why public speaking is so important?
Well, just they took the route of saying, hey, public speaking is so important. In order to be a great leader, you need that. Like, this is a huge component. So they put the focus on leadership because of that, as opposed to just being on public
Well,
speaking.
yeah, we have to be able to speak with clarity. Another thing I get out of Toastmasters, I learn a new word each week.
Oh, yeah, word
It
of the
enriches
day.
our vocabulary. I've learned how to use the dictionary. I've learned how to write. A lot of things that I missed in school, have been going to Toastmasters, and it's not just about public speaking, it's about the whole package.
Right.
So, and a leader needs to be a public speaker,
Yeah.
and they need to speak with clarity. They need to feel good about themselves. If they feel good about themselves, they enrich other people's lives, and they bring people in, and they're able to persuade people
Yeah.
to do the right things.
Yeah. So you said that, I love that, Terry. And you said that there's 3 primary ingredients. Can you talk about that? I love
You know,
this.
the aspiration,
Yeah.
persistence, and perspiration. It's all about being focused. And so I aspire to be a good speaker. I aspire to regain my childhood when I wasn't able to get up and speak. And in the process of that, I knew that if I was going for something that was turning me on, I was also turning my sons on. And then in the Toastmaster groups, I've had different people say, "I'd like to be able to speak like you." And I said, "No, but you're going to speak like you."
I love that.
Yes, and also I have found great friends in Toastmasters, because as I empower them, as I've been empowered to become a public speaker, they themselves feel better about themselves, and I have a lifelong friend.
It's win-win-win.
Exactly. Cleon Cox
Oh.
brought in 400, 500, 600 people
Oh
into
my-
Toastmasters.
Cleon
Everybody
Cox.
knows him.
Yes.
Everybody's grateful.
Yeah.
You know, I really, really do appreciate everything that he's done. He's
Yeah.
empowering a lot of people.
That is so
That's
true.
leadership.
That is true. That is very true. Cleon Cox is the poster child for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's so funny. I'm actually out in Portland. I'm totally unrelated, meeting
Yes,
with the
exactly.
business. And oh, yeah, I'm in Toastmasters. And they go, "Do you know Cleon Cox?" And I'm like, "Ah, of course." No, I love that, Terry. And I love that you're bringing light to a subject that, I don't know, people do avoid it at all costs. But one thing, too, is, you said in your book, you didn't write it as a how-to. You wrote it more as, like, this is what I did. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, I knew when I started writing the book and I was preparing my speeches to tell some stories about lessons learned, I was doing this all consciously. And so I wanted to be my voice about how I did it, so I can motivate and encourage and inspire other people to find their voices as well. In the process of that, they become public speakers.
Yeah, I love that. It's just, it's very inspiring, too, because I think sometimes when people do tell you what to do, like you were saying before,
Yes.
it doesn't become, it's not like, their goal is not to be you. Your
Right.
goal is to inspire somebody to be themselves. How have you like you mentioned just a little while ago that, when you were younger, you didn't get the chance to speak much. How do you feel like you've been squelched in previous years?
Well, I remember in the 2nd grade, and It was in St. Joseph's Catholic Grade School in Vancouver, Washington, and it's K through 8. And I was the class, I was representing the second grade, but I was also the class assembly president, MC. But then in the second grade, after I had done it for quite some time, every Friday afternoon, the K through 8, all of the students, including me, would be there. And the Mother Superior pulled me aside after several weeks, several months, and said, you know, your deportment on the school grounds doesn't really comport with what we'd like to see from our students. So we're going to take that job away from you.
Wow.
So I was effectively squelched, and I was benched.
You were benched.
Yeah, I didn't get up to speak for many years later.
Wow. It's crazy that you would look back to and make this connection like that. That's very, it's good. I think it helps other people be able to make those same connections.
Yes, but it was more than just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of squelching that goes on by commission and by omission, and a lot of people don't know just in the questions they're asking. They sometimes are squelching people.
Elaborate a little bit more on that.
Well, people, you know, where do you live?
Oh.
How's your day going at 6 o'clock in the morning? You know, let those questions or those responses you're looking for come to you.
Yeah.
We always find in our society that we're doing a lot of comparison, and we feel not good enough when we get to some of the answers. And becoming a public speaker, regaining our self-esteem, our self-confidence, the more and more we do it, the better we feel about ourselves, and the way people connect. The better they feel, the better they connect, and the higher they fly.
Ah, the higher they fly. I love that. I love that. That's great. So, tell me your best story with you know, maybe somebody that you mentored. I love these stories of seeing somebody make that transformation and getting to, you know, fly higher. Tell me a story in your 18 years that's maybe somebody you mentored.
Somebody I've mentored?
Or maybe somebody that you've seen in a club that was able to find their voice.
No, I've been focusing on mentoring myself and reaching out to other people to help me.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest turning point, I was shortly into Toastmasters, and I was in a Rotary club in Paris, and I was asked to get up and be the speaker, and I had a choice to make either in French or English, and I knew enough French that I got up to speak, and this gentleman sitting next to me was 30 or 40 years older than I am, and I was just turning 50 at the time, and he said, "Young man, you did a wonderful job." And that turned it for me. That support and that encouragement is what helped me and led me to find my voice. So I'm doing this now with everyone else. So I've heard a word used many times in Toastmasters that I do not use: constructive criticism. We don't use criticism.
Yeah. Constructive feedback.
Whenever I've given a terrible speech, nobody needs to tell me. I know that I've given a terrible speech.
Thank you, I already know.
Exactly, but when people get up and they keep pointing out the obvious,
Yeah.
that's not really building anybody up.
Yeah.
The person already feels badly enough already.
I love that, Terry. Well, I appreciate your time here with me, and I appreciate.
Thank you for taking the time, yes.
Thank you for taking the time to write this amazing book, and for just being a light in the world and shining this light on what you've done, and hopefully it'll inspire others to do the same.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to thank Terry Beard for being here, and thank you for watching TV Toastmasters. I'm Cathey Armillas, your host. Please watch us again next time.
Welcome back to TV Toastmasters. I'm Erik Bergman, and tonight I have a special guest from District 7 Toastmasters to talk about all the opportunities available to Toastmasters here in Southwest Washington and Oregon. Now, John Rodke is a product development engineer at Create Daily down in Eugene, and he's also the program quality director for District 7 Toastmasters here in Oregon. And in that role, John gets to serve more than 3,000 Toastmasters in some 175 clubs spread across our state and into Washington, and even one in California. Welcome, John Rodke. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me, Erik. Appreciate it.
First of all, can you tell us, John, what is it that you do in your role as Program Quality Director for Toastmasters?
So as Program Quality Director, I'm the #2 Toastmaster in our district. And district is, as you said, Oregon, Southern Washington, tiny bit of Northern California. The idea of Program Quality Director is you're trying to make sure that the clubs are having a quality experience, so the members that are involved in Toastmasters are able to learn and grow through the program. Now, my role is to make sure that that all happens. It is involved in hosting and throwing conferences so that we bring in guest speakers. We also have contests at these conferences to make sure that you're having the best of the best from the district speak, and they're sharing their words of wisdom, they're sharing their souls, they're sharing their stories. Members are able to come to it and then get actionable advice and actionable things that they can use to go into their real world and thrive. So my job is to host those. My job is also to make sure that there's education sessions going on so that people are educated within Toastmasters and the officer roles, the different positions that are available, but also how do you give a good speech? How do you give a good evaluation? And speech is sharing your message. Evaluation is becoming a better manager, a better leader, and a better person overall. If you can give good, constructive, positive feedback, people can grow. So my role is to make sure all of those happen. And this year, I've had the opportunity of helping roll out Pathways, which is a brand new education program. So I've been in charge of making sure our district is transitioning through change management to a successful adoption of this new program. And that's been a blast.
Great. Now, I understand that you came to Toastmasters through a bit of a family connection. How did you get involved, and what has that meant to you?
So my dad's been in Toastmasters about 38 years. As I was in college, I had the join Toastmasters, join Toastmasters, join Toastmasters, join Toastmasters, and being the rebellious 18 to 22-year-old adult going, nah, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Not interested. I can't do it, can't do it, can't do it.
Yeah.
Then I graduated, worked at Los Alamos National Laboratories, realized, yeah, there's 40,000 people that work up here, and I know 5 people. I might want to network a bit. And then I was one of those people that used the word like a bunch. Like, so, like. I didn't like the fact that I used like. So I changed that, dropped that filler word as much as possible, and learned that not just being a communicator and being able to share my message, but being a leader and being able to help influence other people and bring them forward. And that's been amazing with Toastmasters.
So you've been in Toastmasters many years. How many years now?
A little over 8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps you involved? Is it still fresh and new for you, even after 8 years?
Elements are super fresh. Other elements are being refined, and so it's a mix of both. What keeps me in Toastmasters is watching people transcend themselves. You get someone who comes in a fear state. They are scared to death of speaking in public or scared to death to lead people. And you get them into a club, you give them the supportive, constructive environment so that they can thrive, and all of a sudden, these people elevate themselves. Their self-confidence builds. They start sharing their stories. They start having fun with it. They start becoming comfortable in front of an audience, and they grow. And then you see those light bulbs, those sparks, the fire behind their eyes as they go, oh, I'm good. I've learned. I've become better. And then they share that with others. That's what keeps me coming back. I love seeing people transcend themselves, become better, and thrive in the process. And Toastmasters gives me the opportunity to do that. Now, I have the chance to do that with 3,000 people, and it's been an amazing opportunity.
Well, the tagline for Toastmasters is where leaders are made, and I certainly see a lot of that in you, having observed you over the last few years as you've risen in the district leadership ranks. And it's just, I just love the excitement that you bring to it. It's so perfect for you as the chief education officer, as it were, for our district, that you have this excitement and that the growth and development of the members matters so much to you. Maybe you could talk, how has Toastmasters changed you? How has it made you a better person or a better engineer or a better whatever?
Okay. Toastmasters has allowed me to combine the geeky side of planning everything and every last detail as an engineer, running some giant projects in a previous job that I had. Millions of pieces all in one place at the right time, with the right people, with all the support possible. Well, that isn't that much fun. Then if you throw storytelling into it, and you throw this leadership development, you throw all these other variables, it combines into this amazing melting pot. I've had the opportunity to learn how to motivate people, not with money, not with force, but with care. And motivating people because you care, and sharing your dreams with them and allowing them the opportunity and the vulnerability to share dreams with you. That combination of the two has enabled me to become a much better leader. And it's not just in Toastmasters, it's in every single thing I do in life. I own 5 businesses right now, and being able to lead in each and every one of those and cooperate with people, work with my clients, work with different customers, work with other vendors, work with other people that I'm working with, so that I'm saying work a lot with that, but it's fun too. It's that play, and it's changing that dynamic, and Toastmasters has allowed me to do that.
You mentioned your own business work and some of the places you have worked, and many companies do sponsor their own Toastmasters Club on site and give their employees some incentive to join. What is the benefit for a company, a business, to having a Toastmasters Club, or for paying for their employees to join another Toastmaster Club?
If your employees don't share the message of your company should have a vision. Every company should have a vision that we want to do the best at this. We want to provide this amazing service. We want to provide this product. We want to do something to help our customers. Well, if your employees are not able to share that message, your employees are not able to communicate successfully and constructively with your customers, you're going to lose them. You're not going to have the sales. You're not going to have the customer service that you're shooting for. You're not going to have the experience of your customers and the experience of your employees be a positive one. Mm-hmm. So instead, if your employees know how to give positive, constructive feedback to each other, instead of it being this cutthroat environment at a company, all of a sudden it becomes this constructive environment. People know how to communicate. If there are problems, there are these drastic, huge things that people are dealing with, instead, if you look at them as opportunities for growth, if people learn how to communicate them, then all of a sudden you can solve those problems. You can solve those opportunities, or you can take advantage of those opportunities, and people can become better. If you want your staff to become the best possible communicators within your industry, if you want them to be able to clearly communicate, whether it's drafting plans on how to build this giant manufacturing facility to all of the different manufacturers, the welders, the engineers, the installers, all of your machinists, those are some of the people, but also your sales staff, the executives at these other companies you're dealing with. If they can relate and share those stories, you can be successful with it. If you're trying to sell a product and you can ask the right questions, you can figure out the story behind why a customer wants to get this item, then you can sell that item to the customer with them having a smile and you having a smile and nobody having heartache, because you're able to properly conduct that interaction. And as a sponsor of a club, you can, for a very minimal investment, I mean pennies, in comparison to most corporate expenditures, you can gain enormous returns and tenfold your business because of Toastmasters.
Excellent testimonial.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Pathways education program. It's the new online learning system that Toastmasters has rolled out. Tell us in a minute or two, what is that and what will it do for us?
The idea with Pathways is Toastmasters is getting into the digital world. We are communicating on video. I just did a Zoom call for an hour and a half right before this awesome interview, and I was able to communicate with people all over the state of Oregon. Well, we're using these online platforms to communicate all over the world. Pathways is one of the opportunities with it is to teach you how to conduct yourself on an online meeting, how to work with people across the world. You're also doing specific paths that you choose for your own personal development. This gives you the opportunity to pick and choose much more of what you want to do and how you can grow and thrive within your own journey. And so you pick your path, you pick your journey, and you are able to roll out from it. You also have better feedback and more in tune, in depth, and customized. This is what's going to help you excel and help you achieve the next level. It is also a program that is modifiable and can continually be evolving with Toastmasters as we go into the rest of this century and all that it may bring.
Great. Yes, I've started on my own path called Presentation Mastery, and I'm working my way through it.
Excellent.
John, maybe as we start to wrap up, what are some of the opportunities available for a Toastmaster throughout the year? What are some of the different activities that a person can get involved in?
So beyond the club, jump in the activities, be in speech contests, attend trainings, and throw some special events. Have fun with it. Beyond that, you get to go in the area, and those are usually 4 to 7 clubs, and you're working together to create a community, and it's an amazing time to network with folks in your community, folks that care, like you. They're Toastmasters. The next level up is division, where you're going on multiple counties type level, or just a very, very large population base. And you get the chance to network with people, but also lead. And district, so division and area, you're having contests, and you're also having some different trainings events there. Those are great opportunities to jump in and volunteer. If you want to be an area director, you're orchestrating around 200 to 300 people, depending on the area, and you get the chance to help lead this group of people where you can take it directly into whatever job environment you're in. And that is extremely valuable because it is 10 times harder to lead volunteers than employees and staff. So with that, those are some of the opportunities. And then conference and TLIs, Toastmaster Leadership Institutes, that's a TLI, trying to get rid of initials. With it, you have the opportunity to throw larger events, host venues, bring in caterers, orchestrate with people, and learn so many valuable lessons. There are so many opportunities to volunteer in our district. Please, if you would like to do so and like to grow with yourself, just ask.
Great, John. I appreciate your enthusiasm and the passion that you bring to talking about Toastmasters. I think it benefits all of us whose lives you've touched and who you have helped make better. More information about Toastmasters, where can we find that?
So you can find more information if you would it's available at D7, so d7toastmasters.org, or at toastmastersinternational.org. Google those and it'll pop right up. The calendar has all sorts of cool events coming up, and you have excellent opportunities. Thank you, Eric.
That wraps up this segment of TV Toastmasters. I'm Erik Bergman, and my guest tonight has been John Rodke, speaking about District 7 Toastmasters. Please, we hope you come back and join us again the next time.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me
Incredible confidence.
Confidence,
confidence,
Great listening skills.
poise,
Great leadership skills.
leadership skills,
the ability to speak in public,
strength,
A captive audience.
quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters.
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
sales skills,
opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
It's a great place to fail your way to success.
wonderful way to meet people,
Networking.
strength.
It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job.
I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.